welcome back to another public counter video. Rachel here. Next up is time to finish off Yorihisa's with the side story on Halloween night, which is Get Ready to Be Tricked, Autumn Aphrodisia. Okay, sure. I walked into our dare, the torrent chimes ringing behind me. Good evening. Hey, Crystal. Yorihisa, is it just you today? Am I not good enough? No, of course, I didn't mean it that. Like usual, I stopped in on my way back from work. But today, without Soichiro or the others, I was greeted by just Yorihisa. Kinda makes me nervous. It's so different than usual. Am I the only thing you noticed out of the ordinary? Huh? I did help out with the rest, after a fashion. I scanned the bar and noticed some unfamiliar pumpkin decorations everywhere. Do you mean the decorations? Since it's almost Halloween, do you like them? Wow, did everyone pitch in to do this? It looks pretty cool, right? You bet it does. We all put a lot of effort into it. Yeah, it was tough work, even doing it all for your sake. Tomorrow, Hideaki, where were you guys? You know, just around. We were just having Hodo help us with making costumes. Costumes? I was asked by a friend, kindergarten teacher, to help with the Halloween play. Thinking that the costumes would be easy enough, I got the others to help. Jeez, what a bunch of slackers. Ryunosuke, hi! Hi there, Crystal. Were you helping with the costumes too? Yeah, I'm not too bad at this kind of thing, and plus what? I was promised to get to hear the play's Halloween story in exchange for the help. A Halloween story? Not fully understanding what you're talking about tilted my head. I wrote it. Really? You mean Kaido Yokihiko wrote it? Did you write something new from scratch? Nah, I just took an old story and made it shorter and easier to understand. Was there a book about Halloween? I turned to Ryunosuke, a Kaido fan. Catching my gaze, he shook his head. What is this? I want to hear it. Can you stop teasing us and just let us hear it? You really want to hear it that bad? My Halloween story? Yeah, please. Well, in that case, won't you have a cocktail first? As if continuing Yorihisa's sentence for him, Soichiro placed a glass in front of me. Wow, I couldn't help but let out a gasp of surprise. The cocktail was unusual, an eye-catching black and orange gradation. As a final touch, orange peel with creepy smile carved in was on top. Stop frowning at it with a scary face and try it. Yorihisa encouraged me as I suspiciously eyed the drink. I still didn't feel much like trying it. Unless you'd rather I helped you drink it myself, like the one time. He whispered in my ear with a sensual smile. After some confusion, I finally realized what he was referring to and blushed. It's okay, I got it. After getting the words out, I took a sip of the mystery cocktail. The sweetness of oranges swirled in my mouth. It's delicious. It's a variation on an ordinary screwdriver, using black vodka instead of regular. We all thought of it as a promotion for the event. Why do you look so relieved, Crystal? No way Soichiro would ever make you drink something weird. He's not like Mamoru. But you could have stopped without adding that last part, Hide. But it's true, isn't it? At some point, drinks like mine had been placed in front of all the other regulars. As if Soichiro crafted the amount of alcohol that each tastes, everyone drank happily. Well, now you can tell us your Halloween story for kids. All right, where should I begin? With a pretentious air, he put his chin in his hand. Halloween is a day to celebrate the boundary between summer and winter. In rural villages, they celebrated the year's harvest by gathering wood and having bonfires. The people danced around the fire, sharing the joy throughout the whole village. It was a huge event in the villages. All men and women, young and old, joined in the celebration. On this day, even the local taverns frequented only by a few became packed with customers. Sounds like a really fun festival, pretty different than the Halloween we have now. Yes, until the change of seasons, that is. He spoke the words with a meaningful grin. What do you mean? Well, now that I've given some background, I'll get to the real story. The story takes place in a certain bar. At that point, he paused. Ryunosuke, tell Crystal what kind of costumes you've been working on. Ryunosuke looked surprised at the sudden shift, but after a sigh began to explain. We're making 5. A village child, a teen, a poet, a bar owner, and a witch. A witch? I stared at Yorihisa, wondering where that would factor in. His only expression was his usual smile, and he showed no signs of answering my question. It's getting a little crowded. Maybe we should move toward the back. You're right. The unfinished costumes are over there, too. What's all this? Leaving us behind? You guys aren't interested in kind of stories or anything, are you? Don't be so heartless. We were listening. Yeah, and we were nice and quiet, weren't we? Let's all move. It'll be easier to tell it in a quieter place. Alright, now where was I? Yorihisa lounged on the couch and prepared to continue. Though the village had been bustling all day, as the clock struck 12, all was silent. The same was true for the tavern. Only the owner, the workers' kids, and a few others left. Seems to me such a fest would be really going at night, though. Yeah, and for others it might have been so, but that day was special. Special? I pondered what he could mean. You mean because of the change of seasons? Huh? At midnight, the season changed. Still, the villagers ended the harvest festival. Close. You're about halfway right. Please tell us more. I didn't want the story to go on without understanding, so jumped in. For the villagers, summer and winter were thought of as the seasons of light and dark. As the dark season began, the night, the boundary between this world and the next, turned thin. Evil spirits from the other world came into this one, turning into witches and black cats. To keep the spirits out of the houses, the villagers burned special fires in their hearths. Evil spirits? What kind of story is this? That night, as the season began, an unknown woman appeared at the edge of the village. Hey, are you listening to me? Yorihisa ignored Hideaki and continued. The woman's true form was that of a witch. It was just as if she appeared from out of darkness. The setting is the tavern. The tavern was managed by the owner and a boy. The boy dreamed of one day being a police officer and worked at the tavern day and night. He had a strong sense of justice even against adults, but that was different. He was clearly afraid of something. Afraid? Why? Don't be silly, Crystal. There were evil spirits roaming around outside. That'd make anyone afraid. But Yorihisa just said everyone had some kind of protective fire in their houses. So there's no need to be afraid. I started to say so, but Hideaki cut me off. That alone isn't usually enough to feel safe, I wouldn't think. You're surprisingly easily scared, Hideaki. She found you out even after all your desperate bluffing. What? Shut up, Mamoru. So really, why was he scared? Ignoring the two men primed for an argument, I turned back to Yorihisa. Because there was no protective fire. It was an unexpected answer. Wait a second. Why did only that place not have one? The boy had gone to the market and intended to get one on his way home. But when he finished shopping, it was already dark, and scared, he went back without it. What? As if he were the boy, Hideaki's face was pale and he cradled his head. There at the entrance to the tavern was the woman. The woman, you mean the witch? Precisely. Amused by Hideaki, Yorihisa lowered his voice as if telling a ghost story. So the witch took advantage of the fact that there was no fire and went into the tavern. Naturally, the boy was already afraid, and he'd never seen the woman, so he called her a witch. Sounds like he was asking for trouble. Well, he was just a kid. It's understandable he'd be tried to scare off his own fear. Although, if it were me, I'd have tried talking to the woman first. How can you be so easygoing? Obviously, you wouldn't let a weird, unknown woman in. Probably, especially if you were scared. Just like Hideaki said, the boy cried and refused to let the woman in. I knew it, but the woman didn't heed his refusal, walked in anyway. What? Not only that, but the woman seemed amused by the boy's fear. I could see how it might feel good to see someone afraid of you. Even for the witch that day was only once a year festival. That's an interesting way of thinking of it. But don't you think it'd be the only day a year she could do her magic on Earth? At my words, Yorihisa's mouth turned into an eerie smile. Finally, an older boy, a regular at the tavern, called out to the witch. One of the remaining customers. But why was he still there when all the others were afraid and at home? I spontaneously threw it out, and he answered. There were some people who wanted to spend the night out on the town. I can believe it. What a night that'd be. Mamoru laughed in agreement. You might run into some interesting characters that you wouldn't see normally. That might just be the way the young man was thinking. Agreeing, Yorihisa continued the story. The older boy pulled the witch away from the frightened younger one and sat her down. This is getting interesting. That boy was the handsomest in the village, very confident. He started coming on to the woman. Reminds me of someone I know. I wonder who. After returning Ryunosuke's remark with a smile, he gestured for Yorihisa to go on. But faced with the witch's enchanting beauty and voice, the boy was putty in her hands. The seducer became the seduced, and the young man became the witch's prisoner. The witch laughed, manipulating him as if he were a toy. Great, she's acting like a witch after all. I furrowed my eyebrows at the behavior. No matter how dark a day, that's going too far. Is that really okay? I can't understand why someone would toy with someone like that. Who cares? He had it coming. He was obviously of the deluded opinion no woman could resist. Sounds familiar, Mamoru. This type of guy's always left after a woman they can't get. Well, all the women already knew him as boorish with nothing but good looks. Can't be helped. Must have been more exciting to him to be thought of that way anyway. He really seemed to understand how that boy felt. Saddened by how well he seemed to get it, my comment slipped out. Yeah, I wonder why. I feel like I know him personally, am I right, Hodo? Without the sign of being bothered, Mamoru turned to Yorihisa with a grin. Yeah, I wonder why you can understand him so well. Yorihisa was also grinning. Ryunosuke looked at him with a questioning frown. What could he have been thinking about? I wonder what the witch was trying to do, toying with him like that. Having the charm to drive men insane was the whole reason she was a witch. The reason she was a witch? Sounds like a lot like the charm to drive own Miss Lynn. Soichiro nonchalantly threw out the comment as he brought more drinks and snacks. Me? After that, ignoring the young man's ardent appeals, she went over to another man. It was the poet, who had been watching the two of them interact with curiosity. The poet. The woman sat down and started speaking to him, in the same voice as before. But the poet didn't respond. Why not? To him, she seemed like a liar. Was it because he noticed how she was playing with the boy's feelings? No, not quite. He turned toward me. The poet had realized the woman had been testing the young man. Testing him? About what? Whether he could be with someone in which her soul could find peace. Thoughts quickly flew through my head at the words. Long ago, when the woman was still human, she was killed for jealousy of her great beauty. Her sadness caused her to be a witch, her soul wandering for a place of rest. Little by little, the witch I've been skeptical of seemed more and more human. The poet, having felt her sadness, asked her just one question. What are you looking for? The woman was at a loss for words, because he'd known what she was trying to do. Yorihisa nodded and continued, right, and as an even harder surprise hit, he said something else. He implied that he might be looking for the same thing. The poet was looking for something? The same thing as her, a place, or rather a person, to put his soul at peace. Yorihisa said those words into my ear and squeezed my hand. The witch grew steadily infatuated with the poet who had seemed to know her so well. Then, while they were talking, the woman became the poet's own prisoner. Just the same way as me when I fell in love with you. He spoke those words so only I could hear it, squeezing my hand. My face turned red and I exchanged a glance with him. By the way, Yorihisa? Suddenly, Ryunosuke, with the same thoughtful look, spoke up. What is it? You said you wrote this a long time ago, but the characters resemble us a little too much. Huh? Where'd that come from? The frightened boy, the skirt-chasing young man, and the poet who got the girl. Don't they all sound too much modeled after people sitting around right here? I'm impressed, Ryunosuke. Very perceptive. And that's why I'd like you all to appear in the play. Us? In the play? That's why I had you make the costumes. It's an honor, don't you think? I don't mean to criticize your writing, but it doesn't seem like a play for little kids. Plus, there wasn't any part for me. I thought you'd want to watch, along with the kids. Then that means the witch in the story is... Why did you make me a witch? Why not? After getting home, I asked him. Her personality's nothing like mine. You could ask anyone. Really? It seemed to me like everyone on board with the fact that the witch was you. That's impossible. We're absolutely nothing alike. Plus what? I'm certainly not pretty enough for it to cause any problems. In my eyes, you are. Huh? He pinned me to the floor. Yorihisa, do you not realize it yet? Realize what? How much you mean to me, to all of us. The way that we see you. If you're just pretending to not know, why don't you think you're a perfect match for the witch? But I'm not pretending. I just know everybody there seems to like me enough. You're even worse than I thought. With that, his hand came up to touch my cheek. You need to be more self-aware. Any of the guys could try doing this to you at any time. That's crazy. Shall we make sure, then? Yorihisa's hand slid from my cheek to the buttons on my outfit. What are you... Cutting me off, his lips covered mine. The kiss started as a peck, but changed. Quickly. Yorihisa, if you don't think there's any way I could make the witch after you... The hands undoing my buttons stopped to slide over bare skin. Then show me proof. Show me who you really are. Proof? But how? Reject me. Push my hands away. You can do it, can't you, if you're not the witch? I can't prove such a... You can. The witch became the poet's prisoner. But you're not like her, right? You're not the poet's... my prisoner yet. You should be able to resist. I can't. Don't give up without trying. Come on. Hurry and push me away. There was no way I could resist. My body was completely at his mercy. Despite knowing that he didn't stop, and I made no move to try and stop him. Just like the witch in the story, my heart had been caught by him. On that Halloween night. The end. And that's the sub-story for Yorihisa. So I'm done with Yorihisa now, and the next up will be the last one. I believe the oldest of the bunch. The owner of the bar, Soichiro. Or Chiro. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time with whatever. Bye!